Hello, hello. How have you been? For me, I have been well and I really thank God. I'm here to introduce a new show by the name Firstborn Daughters. This is where we will be having firstborn daughters as our guest and we will be discussing more about being a firstborn daughter, especially in an African home. As we know, firstborn daughters, they are like our deputy parents. They are more of parents. And we want to know, does this affect them later in life, whether positively or negatively? We will be having firstborn daughters as the guests, and we will be hearing from how it was for them from different backgrounds, from different homesteads, and from different communities. For sure, this is something that you really enjoy. You're most welcome to watch. You don't have to be a firstborn daughter. But one thing I'm sure is that maybe you have a friend who is a firstborn daughter, a sister, or your mom is a firstborn daughter. So you're most welcome to this new show. Let us welcome our first guest to hear from her how life has been as a firstborn daughter.
So hi guys, my name is Maureen Wairimu, or Maureen Kayla. That's how everybody knows me. I'm a firstborn daughter. I have two siblings, and to be honest, I know I look young, but I don't feel young because being a firstborn, honestly, you kind of take on responsibility so early to a point you don't really have a childhood per se. So you are a child, but you have to share your childhood with your siblings, so, and you don't have an option, and especially if there is a huge gap between you and the next. So yeah, being a firstborn in an African home has its own, I can say it has more cons than pros. So, but for me, I think I'm already used to by now because many are the times when, I feel like everybody needs me and I have to be there, but they forget that I also need someone. So that's literally being a firstborn in an African home for me. Okay, so I was an only daughter for 12 years. So there's a huge age gap between all of us because between me and the second born is 12 years, between me and the third born is 22 years. So that means like I was an only child for 12 years, and I can say I'm gonna be honest, life was boring. Life was boring. Of course, I had all the attention, but in my case, it's different because not so many people know this, but I come from a blended family. So between me and now getting to have another sibling, it's like I had to ask, I'm like, okay, my parents took it literally because I was raised in boarding school, but anytime I went home, it's like I was always alone. And I'm like, why don't you guys give me a sibling? I mean, I really didn't think they were gonna give me a sibling, but the next year, there I was a sister. I was a big sister, which I did not know how to navigate, having been alone for so long. So I can say that's also another challenge. I feel like, and I might be wrong, and this might be biased, but I feel like those who are born closer together have a stronger connection with their siblings. But if you have so many years apart, you don't really get to, to have that. I can't say we don't have a close relationship, we do, but it's like now it becomes like a mother-daughter relationship, if that makes sense. Life for us, especially me and my sister, has not really been easy per se. And this, I can say, differs from family to family, because for us, it's like we've been raised by like our whole family from this person to the next. So it's like, for me, it was really challenging because having been in boarding school and anytime I come for holiday, because my mom was hustling, bless her, but we had to, I had to be raised by my aunt, and I'm a firstborn, yes, to this little pretty girl, but it's like I'm also in another home where there's another firstborn. So I feel like a firstborn. I feel like I have to defend my sister when needed be. But again, I also have to respect that there's also another firstborn in this home. So I can say for me, after my sibling, life was really confusing. And I got to be old enough, and I can say I had to start life early because after my high school, I had to move out from my aunt's place, and I had to take my sister with me because now everybody felt I'm now a grown adult. They forgot that I really didn't get time to be a child. So that's something I still fight to date. I still get the comments, grow up. It really irritates me when somebody says that, but I cannot blame them because I didn't have that time to be a kid. So I try to compensate it now that I'm an adult. But I feel like for firstborns, life after your sibling, it's like when you become an adult, you never really grow up fully to your age because you already grew up then. So when you feel like it's now time you're an adult, you feel like the childhood you is still chasing. The kid in you is still chasing you because you missed a stage. And one thing we know is age always catches up, and sometimes for firstborn it's backwards. Well, I feel like the first time I took care of my sister was when I was in Form 2. And I think I was 15. I was between 15 and 16. Like, I can say that's the first time, because I remember the first Christmas I hustled. I was in Form 2 and it was Christmas, and I told my mom, I kind of wanna, do business, because at this point I was feeling like life is really, I'm in high school, mind you, but I was feeling like life is really chasing me. I needed to earn a living. That's how in my head I was playing it. I'm like, I need to earn my stay. So I remember I told my mom to buy me face paint. And I went to Nyamavila, Kayole, and that's where I started hustling. And I just started face painting kids when other kids were, doing Christmas and all that. So I feel like, I don't know, I had to sacrifice a lot as a child. Just, not that I had to know, but I felt like I needed to. So it was all an internal feeling, like I needed to earn my living and, earn my own pocket money so that I don't have to disturb my mom or my auntie. And, I shared with my little sister. She was so little by then. So I can say, yeah, Form 2 at around 15, 16 years. Okay, so for clarity, my mom used to stay in South Sudan. My mom used to work in South Sudan. Not that my mom never used to support us, but we all know families. And of course, I didn't have the nerve to ask my auntie if my mother is sending money. So it's like I just had to make do with what I have, with what we had back then and what we were being given, because we had a roof over our head, we were being given food. For me, at that time, I felt like that's all we needed. Anything else, yeah, you could inherit here and there. You inherit here and there. So I never really complained. But it's like, going to your question, how did it feel like taking over, fully for my sister? I can say it was actually not immediately after Form 4. It was after I started college. So immediately I started college in 2018. Then we had to move into my sister one because it was easier, because we went to a place where it's just next to her school. And I felt like if I'm going to school and she's going to school, then it would be easier to cut cost, one, on transportation. Two, she doesn't have to wake up as early, and I don't have to wake up as early. I'm not a morning person. So it was challenging at first, I remember, because we moved in with only our suitcases and a mattress. We didn't have gas. We didn't have we didn't have anything, no jiko, no cup, no spoon, nothing. So that's how we started. But I mean, my mom knew we had moved, so my mom was kind of supporting us. So I don't know, it came easy for me because I was already kind of used to being a parent to her. So by the time we moved out, it actually felt like peace for us because we had our own place, we had our own rules, we could do whatever we want, to be honest. And life escalated that way. COVID came and we were all inside. It was the best time, by the way. But we were all inside, so I feel like during COVID, that's when I really got to bond with my sister because I got to know her better. I got to know her annoying side, her good side. So I can say during COVID, that's when I really got to bond with my sister and be like, if you're gonna die, we're gonna die together. I can say yes and no. Yes, okay, let me start with the no. No, because I had parented her from the moment she arrived in this world. I feel like I became a parent that day because the kid is crying. You are the big sister, so it's your duty. Oh, carry the kid, make her sleep. It was all me. And I took the role quite well. So, plus, I really didn't really feel like I was too, at the time, like when I was taking full responsibility, I didn't feel like I was too young because I had already taken the responsibility by default. As a firstborn, taking responsibility comes by default. You know, it's like being a parent. You don't have a manual, you just become. So, the yes part, I can say there are times when I felt like I'm missing out on a lot because when other kids, me being young, when other kids were playing, I had a baby on my back. When other kids, so I never really got to be a kid that ever went out to play. As a kid, I never made any friends because I was always watching over this little girl. Like my instincts just kicked in and I'm like, whenever she's crying, I don't even need to be called. I just have to run. So, but thank God I was in boarding school because otherwise I think I would have had more trauma raising a kid as a kid. And yeah, I mean, it was bittersweet for me. I felt like I was too young, but then I also felt like I didn't have an option. I wish I had an option because at this moment in my life, I wish also I had a big sister or brother to just feel how it feels to be taken care of. Okay, I think it's the amount of compromise that you have to do. And because one, you started compromising the moment these little ones arrived. Because as I said, you have to share your childhood. You have to share everything from that moment on, the attention and everything. I also feel like I never really got any attention. So I think like being a firstborn, you compromise a lot, and especially with the parents. The parent and the society expects you to just, leave your childhood aside and accommodate this new person, because if you don't, then you're regarded as selfish. So I can say being a firstborn is really traumatic. It's also really traumatic because the amount of things I can say I have faced just because I'm a firstborn, like, for example, just a side note, like anytime I'm somewhere and I really admire this cute cloth or this cute dress or shoes, or I want to eat something really nice, at the back of my head, I'm always like, I might do this, but are my siblings gonna do this? Am I gonna, are they gonna eat the same food as me? Are they gonna get the same shoe as me? So you limit yourself so much, and somebody told me it's all, mental. But for me, I feel like it's just a feeling you cannot brush off. There's always that sacrifice that you have to make, which is wrong, by the way. If you're a firstborn out there, all I can tell you is buy that dress, buy that shoes, eat that food, because even if you don't, they won't as well. So either way, just do it. Just do it. I know it comes with a lot of guilt, but just do it. But yeah, being a firstborn is sacrifice, compromise, and trauma. Well, that's a tough one because for me it's a different case. The biggest sacrifice I made from being a firstborn is leaving, deciding to be like, you know what, I am not gonna renew my visa. I'm going home. So yes, I lived in Europe for 3 years, and having, my little baby, the baby that I got at 12, my sister, she's now 14, and her being a teenager and me not seeing the progress for the last 3 years kind of really affected me in more ways than I could imagine. So anytime somebody used to call me and they'd be like, we just saw your sister. I think she's not eating well. She's slimmed down. And guys, my sister is pretty. She's tall. She looks like a model. Like, every time somebody tells me that, mind you, when I left, she was so short. I don't know where time goes. I don't know how she grew, but she's so tall. She's so tall, like taller than me. And every time somebody tells me, like, it's like she's not eating well, it always got to my head. People text me, oh, we just saw your sister. She might be going to the shop, but having been that when I was here, we really never used to go out. So when somebody tells me they saw her out, it really used to traumatize me, being an introvert as well. I'm like, is she gonna join bad friendships? It was always in my head, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna live my life in Europe. I'm gonna come back to Kenya for me to just guide my sister through teenagehood. And I feel like, I don't know, at this point, do I regret the decision? Maybe a little bit, because I'm like, either way, teenagers are teenagers. They're gonna do teenage stuff, and me, it's like, if I do tell her, do this, don't do this, I look like I'm a controlling sister. But in my head, it's like, it's the parental instinct. So that's the most huge sacrifice I had to make. And yeah, 6 months or more down the line, I feel like I shouldn't have made that sacrifice. Yeah. Okay, for the past 1 year, my mom has been in Kenya as well. So yes, she was, but she's always, like business people can understand. Your parents are always in and out. So for me, I was like, I don't know when she's gonna leave. Okay, so I didn't know when she's gonna leave. And honestly, I didn't want my sister to be raised by house managers and all that, because people are raised differently, and I wouldn't tell this house manager, don't do this because of my sister. No. So my mom was there, but I didn't know when she's gonna leave, or if she's ever gonna leave. She's still here. She never left. But now that I'm back, she's been in and out, and that's why I say, like, I kind of regret the decision. Because in the past 1 year, she's not left. She's been with her babies. She's been here. But in my head, I'm like, I felt like I'm the mother because I think I've stayed with her the longest. So I felt like it's my duty. It's my duty as a, parent, deputy parent, to be here, especially because, like I can say, we kind of don't have a dad. He passed on back when my sister was like 1.5. So I felt like I needed to come and be the adult. Not saying that my mom is not an adult, but that's how I felt. Like I needed to be the one to come and guide her through teenagehood, which, big mistake. My mom was quite supportive me coming back. I don't want to say for her own gain, but my mom was quite supportive of my journey back, and yeah, she was with me through it, because if you've been outside, coming back is never easy. There's that trauma that comes with coming back, and you're thinking so much. You're thinking about what you don't have. What is it gonna be like? But I can say my mom, she welcomed me, and she was part of the decision, me coming back. But looking back right now, I wish I wish I renewed that visa. Yeah. 100%. And I'm gonna talk about this, my own experience, because it doesn't have to be all, so I'm not gonna generalize. So I'm gonna just talk about my own experience. I can say yes, because I don't know, they just feel like you are the adult now. You are an adult now, so why don't you step in? I raised you, so raise your siblings. Which is so wrong if you ask me, because one, you never choose who or where you're gonna be born. You just find yourself. So if you're a parent out there who feels like your child, and this will be very controversial, especially to an African home, but if you're a parent out there and you feel like your firstborn daughter, owes you, then that is I can say that's a very medieval kind of mentality, because this child owes you nothing. One thing, if your daughters keep pouring from an empty cup, then it continues generation to generation. So for example, if my mom keep taking from me, then I don't have enough to build myself. When I reach the time I'm building myself, maybe something happens and I'm a mom, I'm now keeping on the trend of now I'm gonna just hold back, wait for my firstborn to come and do the same for me, which I feel is very selfish. If you're a parent who does that, this kid owes you, of course they owe you their life, but they don't owe you their life because in the first place, nobody asked to be born. And I'm saying that with a lot of confidence. Hate me for that, but I'm just gonna say it as it is. This kid did not ask to be brought here. So the fact that you won't give this kid peace, you will keep taking from them, you will keep taking their time, because time also matters. If right now I take the responsibility of raising my siblings, what about my own family? When am I ever gonna get the time? 1, to date. 2, to be in courtship. 3, to get married. By the time I'm getting to that age, I'll feel like it's too late. I'll just settle for anything, and I'll feel like I've never really started to live my life, so anything just pleases me. So those are just the kind of things firstborn daughters don't speak to their parents about, but those are the things that really affect them the most. They're in an age where they're supposed to be creating their own family, but what are they doing? They're just raising their siblings. So for me, parents, that's really selfish, and people will never say it out loud, but for me, I don't even shy away from saying it out loud, because I am a victim, and at my age, this is the time that now I'm like, you know what, I feel late, but I'm just gonna cut my losses and start living life from scratch, per se, because as I said, I'm an introvert. I know I've lived in Europe for 3 years, but I've never really, here in Kenya, I've never really explored a lot, be it dating, I have dated before, but it becomes so hard when you have siblings, because I always feel like I go with the baggage when I'm going to a relationship. It's like I'm carrying kids, it's like I'm a mom, and I carry them to this relationship, so it never works for me, because I always prioritize them than prioritizing my own happiness and my man and all that. So I can say it, I don't know, parents should do better. Okay, so for me, the way I express myself, I cry a lot. I'm a crybaby, and that's kind of the not so mature part that comes with being a firstborn. So I cry a lot, but one thing you'll never find me, my siblings will never know that I cry. I have cried myself to sleep, I think, more than 3/4 of my life, and most of it when I had siblings, because I felt like I lost, and I know this is bad to say, but I felt like I lost. I'm like, I lost being me. Now I have to accommodate them. But right now as an adult, I kind of just hide my feelings. I don't really show my feelings. I don't treat my siblings in the way that I am feeling currently. It's like I might be hurting, but I really be so sweet to them, because one, at the back of my mind, I'm like, I know the pain of crying myself to sleep. I know the pain of lack. I know the pain of somebody not being there for me. So I'm like, let me just give it to them so that one day they don't go seeking it outside. So, and that's another thing, as a firstborn, you cannot go kind of seeking it outside because it always feels wrong. But me not being able to seek it outside, I also wouldn't want them to seek that affection and attention outside. So I try to just give it to them and then cry myself to sleep. Or those who know me know I love working in nature. So anytime I'm like, I feel the emotions are really overwhelming and I feel like I'm drifting away and I'm kind of take it out on them, I just find somewhere where I can just go and just be me and let go of all those emotions, especially really when I'm in Nairobi, Karura. I always go to Karura. So yeah, I have never found myself being in a position where I make my siblings feel like they're a burden, and I will never do that, because many other times zenye nimekopa because maybe we didn't have, and maybe my parents had delayed in sending the upkeep money for them. So of course I won't tell them like, today you're gonna sleep hungry because your parents didn't do. No, I'm gonna pick myself up, be the adult who also need an adult, but I be the adult, niende nikope, I'll deal with them kopo badai. But they will never know that part. They will never know the tears part. They will never know that I break down anytime I'm thinking that everything is too much, because everything is too much, but I will never really show it to my siblings. That's, I don't know, I can also put it on the maternal instinct, because that's all also parents, most of them don't show. So it all comes naturally, like you just don't show unless you've really reached your breaking point. Okay, I can say I wish my mom told me not to, and that's why I'm saying, like, I feel like she did it for her own personal gain. I stand to be corrected, and if my mom will watch this, I love you, but this is just me expressing myself, okay? So I can say the relationship between us two has, honestly, this is the first time that we've had a disagreement with my mom, and not so many people know it. And now that I'm putting it out there, it's not in a bad way. It's just every family have their own misunderstanding, and I've never had a misunderstanding with my mom per se, but I can say this is the first time, because I am in a place where I am craving to live my life. Like, I am craving to, to explore what is out there and kind of find my place and my people. But I also feel very limited to, the point that I have to be here for my siblings. I have to, I raised you, so raise them. Which I feel like it's not really my job. It's not really my job. They are not my kids. I know I should say they're not my kids, not my business. But also as a firstborn, it's really hard to say that. But I'm kind of in a place where I'm kind of rebelling, because I feel like I should take charge of my life. I'm gonna, I want to start a family someday. Not now, but someday. And I feel like if I take up this role of kids, if I continue taking it up, by the time I'm getting my own kids, I'll be very tired. And I won't even have had time to explore the world, which is weird me saying that after traveling, but explore the world, get into a relationship, maintain the relationship, get friends, go out, do all that stuff. because I feel like the same way the kid in me is fighting to come out at my adult age, I feel it's the same thing that's gonna happen when I'm in my 30s. Now the 20s, I'm still gonna try to fight to come out in my 30s, and that's something that really scares me. So, and I know like parents really won't understand that, but it's just an internal feeling. We all feel stuff at times that we were supposed to feel in our early 20s, but because we missed that stage, now it's catching up. So the relationship with my mom right now is kind of rocky. Of course, we're good, okay? We're living in the same house, in as much as I relocated to the village, but we're living in the same house. But it's not perfect as it was, and it's all because I said no, and I've never said no before. So I also feel like as a firstborn, no does not exist in our mouth. And when it does, it kind of feels like a jail time, because relationships just get destroyed. So, but for me, I feel like I'm still gonna stand with with myself and what I want. I'm not gonna give in to the guilt effect, because that's what most of us do. We give in to that guilt, and I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna try get the ridicule if it comes to that, but I'm gonna claim my life, and I'm gonna try and live my life and catch up with everything that I feel like I've lost. So, am I planning to go back to Europe? I can say, even if I decide to, of which when you come back, getting the visa is really hard. And I know I have a few stamps which might help, but getting something that's gonna take you back, and it's really hard. But this is gonna hurt a few hearts, but it's okay. As I said, I'm gonna stand with my say, and I'm gonna stand on my stand. So even if I decide to go back, my main priority won't be my siblings, won't be my family. I know that's the priority of most people, but for me, if I decide to go back, my main priority will be me. Because if I do not build myself right now, then the trend continues generation after generation. And if there's one thing I want to do, is I want to break that. And if by me breaking that means I prioritize myself and my family comes later, then that's what I'm going to do, because I cannot keep pouring from an empty cup. I cannot keep pouring from a half-filled cup. If you're going to pour, you should pour from what is excess of your cup. Whatever is pouring out, that's what you should give. Because if I keep pouring from an empty cup, we're back to square one and we will never grow. So I'm going to prioritize myself. If I get to go back, right now I don't have such plans. Maybe to visit. I want to explore the world, to be honest. And I'm not going to do it because I'm trying to, rush life. I'm just going to do it because that's what I want to do. So, and I feel like every firstborn daughter should get to that point where let us prioritize our happiness. Let us prioritize ourselves. Let us prioritize, let's, put, those finances that you're like, these are going to my siblings this month. Yeah, put them on yourself. Be a little bit selfish. It's so bad that I'm saying that. But trust you me, we feel like it's bad because we are accustomed and we are groomed to just give. Firstborns are givers. Firstborns are they're just, I don't know how I can put it. They're just really soft people. And people know where to pinch us or what to say for us to feel the guilt and give. But I think I have broken that and reached a point where I'm like, I've already chipped in so much. If the situation was reversed or if I needed help, will they chip in for me? And if that answer is a maybe or a no, then you need to do better. You need to prioritize yourself. So if I ever get to travel out again, the main priority will be me, then they will come after. What I can say is hold on. Like, that voice in your head telling you that, you know, you didn't give them because you didn't have. Ukope, don't get yourself in debt for your siblings. Do not get yourself in debt for your parents. Prioritize your happiness, because one thing as a firstborn is the society moves on while forgetting about us. They expect we are adjusting to them. But this time, make it the other way. Let the society adjust to you. Like, I don't know, like if I think about me if I was given a chance to choose, at birth, do I really want to come out as a firstborn? I wouldn't. In my next life, if there's a next life, I wish I'm not a firstborn, because we need people. We are adults who also need adults in our lives, because we never got a chance to have adults in our lives. We were the adults even before you were adults, and only firstborns are gonna understand that statement. But if you're a daughter out there, you feel like it's too much, you're too low, you're too down, do not give up. Like, it's time we start a rebelling movement. And I'm gonna lead you, like, if you're a parent watching this and feeling like, huyu msichana anasema nini, I'm not gonna apologize. I'm so unapologetic, because I have experienced it, and I feel like every firstborn needs a chance. They need a chance. Your firstborn needs a chance to live. Your firstborn needs a chance to have a relationship. Your firstborn needs a chance to explore whatever is out there. Your firstborn needs a chance to get friends who are not their siblings. We actually already have a movement. We have a firstborn daughter movement, a place where you can come, rant without being judged, cry, and somebody else will honestly understand where your cry is coming from. Come and join us. We did a first edition, and we are gonna do a second edition, and purpose to be there. The event is gonna be on the 4th of October. And I know the full details will be posted on the description. So make sure if you come across this video, this is your chance, this is your sign, this is the sign you are looking for to break out of that, of that cocoon of yours, like break out, and you need to fly high. So yeah, that's all I can say. And thank you so much for watching me. My name, as I said, is Maureen. You can find me on Maureen Kayla on all platforms. On TikTok, Maureen Kayla. Instagram, Maureen_Kayla_. And also on YouTube, find me at Maureen Kayla. All I can say is thank you for listening to me, and thank you for watching.